Shiva replies, Radiant One, this experience may dawn between two breaths. After breath comes in, down, and just before turning up, out, the beneficence. As breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns, realize. Or, whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, at this instant touch the energyless, energy-filled center. Or, when breath is all out, up, and stopped of itself, or all in, down, and stopped, in such universal pause, one's small self vanishes. This is difficult only for the impure.
Truth is always here. It is already the case. It is not something to be achieved in future. You are the truth, just here and now. So it is not something which is to be created, or something which is to be desired, or something which is to be sought. Understand this very clearly, then these techniques will be easy to understand and also to do. Mind is a mechanism of desiring. Mind is always in desire, seeking something, asking something. Always the object is in the future. Mind is not concerned with the present at all. This very moment, mind cannot move. There is no space. So mind needs future to move. It can move either in the past or in the future. It cannot move in the present. There is no space. And the truth is in the present. And mind always in the future or in the past. So there is no meeting between mind and truth. When mind is seeking worldly objects, it is not so difficult. The problem is not absurd. It can be solved. But when the mind starts seeking the truth, then the very effort becomes nonsense. Because the truth is here and now, and mind is always then and there. There is no meeting. So understand the first thing, you cannot seek truth. You can find it, but you cannot seek it. The very seeking is the hindrance. The moment you start seeking, you have moved away from the present, away from yourself, because you are always in the present. The seeker is always in the present, and the seeking in the future. You are never going to meet whatsoever you are seeking. Lao Tzu says, seek not, otherwise you will miss. Seek not and find. Don't seek and find. All these techniques of Shiva are simply turning the mind from the future or from the past to the present. That which you are seeking is already there. It is the case already. So mind has to be turned from seeking to non-seeking. It is difficult. If you think it intellectually, it is very difficult. How to turn the mind from seeking to non-seeking? Because then the mind makes non-seeking itself the object. Then the mind said, don't seek. Then the mind says, I should not seek. Then the mind says, now non-seeking is my object. Now I desire the state of desirelessness. The seeking has entered again. The desire has come again. Through the back door. That's why there are people who are seeking worldly objects, and there are people who think they are seeking non-worldly objects. All objects are worldly. Because seeking is the world. So you cannot seek anything non-worldly. The moment you seek, it becomes the world. If you are seeking God, your God is part of the world. If you are seeking moksha, nirvana, liberation, your liberation is part of the world. Your liberation is not something transcending the world, because seeking is the world, desiring is the world. So you cannot desire nirvana. You cannot desire non-desire. So if you try to understand intellectually, it will become a puzzle. Shiva says nothing about it. He immediately proceeds to give techniques. They are non-intellectual. He doesn't say to Devi that the truth is here. Don't seek it, and you will find it. He immediately gives techniques. Those techniques are non-intellectual. Do them and the mind turns. The turning is just a consequence, just a byproduct, not an object. The turning is just a byproduct. If you do the technique, your mind will turn from its journey into the future or into the past. Suddenly you will find yourself in the present. That's why Buddha has given techniques. Lao Tse has given techniques. Krishna has given techniques. But they always introduce their techniques with intellectual concepts. Only Shiva is different. He gives immediately techniques with no intellectual understanding, no intellectual introduction. Because he knows the mind is tricky, the most cunning thing possible. It can turn anything into a problem. Non-seeking will become the problem. There are people who come to me and they say, how not to desire? They are desiring non-desire. Somebody has said them, or somewhere they have read, or they have heard spiritual gossip, that if you don't desire, you will reach bliss. If you don't desire, you will be free. If you don't desire, there will be no suffering. Now their mind hankers to attain that state where there is no suffering. So they say, how not to desire? their mind is playing tricks. They are still desiring. Now only the object has changed. They were desiring money. They were desiring fame. They were desiring prestige. They were desiring power. Now they are desiring non-desire. Only the object has changed, and they remain the same, and the desire remains the same. But now the desire has become more deceptive. Because of this, Shiva proceeds immediately, with no introduction whatsoever. He immediately starts talking about techniques. Those techniques, if followed, suddenly turn your mind. It comes to the present. And when the mind comes to the present, it stops. It is no more. You cannot be a mind in the present. That is impossible. Just now, if you are here and now, how you can be a mind? Thoughts cease, because they cannot move. Present has no space to move. You cannot think. If you are in this very moment, how you can move? Mind stops. You attain to no mind. So the real thing is how to be here and now. You can try, but effort may prove futile. Because if you make it a point to be in the present, then this point has moved into the future. You ask how to be in the present. Again you are asking about the future. This moment is passing in the inquiry how to be present, how to be here and now. This present moment is passing in the inquiry, and your mind will begin to web, create dreams in the future. Someday you will be in a state of mind when there is no movement, no motive, no seeking, and then there is bliss. So how to be in the present? Shiva doesn't talk anything about it. He simply gives a technique. You do it, and suddenly you find you are here and now. And your being here and now is the truth. And your being here and now is the freedom. And your being here and now is the nirvana. The first 9 techniques, they are concerning breathing. So let us understand something about breathing, and then we proceed to the techniques. We are breathing continuously from the moment of birth to the moment of death. Everything changes. Between these 2 points, everything changes. Nothing remains the same, only breathing is a constant thing. Between birth and death, the child will become young, the youth will become old, you will be diseased, body will become ugly, ill. Everything will change. You will be happy, unhappy, in suffering. Everything will go on changing. But whatsoever happens between these 2 points, you must breathe. Whether happy or unhappy, young or old, successful or unsuccessful. Whatsoever you are, it is irrelevant. One thing is certain. Between these 2 points of birth and death, you must breathe. breathing will be a continuous flow. No gap is possible. If even for a single moment you forget to breathe, you will be no more. That's why you are not required to breathe, because then it will be difficult. Someone may forget to breathe for a single moment, and then nothing can be done. So really you are not breathing because you are not needed. You are fast asleep and breathing goes on. You are unconscious and breathing goes on. You are in a deep coma and breathing goes on. You are not required. Breathing is something which goes on in spite of you. It is one of the constant factors in your personality. First thing. Something which is very essential and basic to life. Second thing. You cannot be alive without breath. So breath and life have become synonymous. Breathing is the mechanism of life. Life is deeply related with breathing. That's why in India we call it prana. We have given one word for both. Prana means the vitality, the aliveness. So your life is your breath. Thirdly, your breath is a bridge between you and your body. Constantly, breath is bridging you to your body, connecting you, relating you to the body. Not only with the body your breath is a bridge, it is also a bridge between you and the universe. Body is just universe which has come to you, nearer to you. Your body is part of the universe. Everything in the body is part of the universe. Every particle, every cell. It is the nearest approach to the universe. Your body is the nearest approach to the universe. Breath is the bridge. If the bridge is broken, you are no more in the body. If the bridge is broken, you are no more in the universe. You move into some unknown dimension. You cannot be found then in space and time. So thirdly, breath is also the bridge between you and space and time. Breath, therefore, becomes very significant, the most significant thing. So the first 9 techniques are concerning breath. If you can do something with breath, you will suddenly turn to the present. If you can do something with breath, you will attain to the source of life. If you can do something with breath, you can transcend time and space. If you do something with breath, you will be in the world and also beyond it. Breath has 2 points. One, where it is touching the body and the universe. Another, where it is touching you and that which transcends universe. We know only one part of the breath. When it moves into the universe, into the body, we know it. But it is moving always from the body to the no-body, from the no-body to the body. We don't know the other point. If you become aware of the other point, the other part of the bridge, the other pole of the bridge, suddenly you will be transformed. Transplanted into a different dimension. But remember, what Shiva is going to say is not yoga, it is tantra. Yoga also works on breath. But the work of yoga and tantra is basically different. Yoga tries to systematize breathing. If you systematize your breathing, your health will improve. If you systematize your breathing and if you know the secrets of breathing, your life will become longer. You will be more healthy and you will live longer. You will be more strong, more filled with energy, more vital, alive, young, fresh. But Tantra is not concerned with that. Tantra is concerned not with any systematization of breath, but using breath just as a technique to turn inwards. One is not to practice a particular style of breathing, a particular system of breathing, or a particular rhythm of breathing. No. One has to take breathing as it is. Just one has to become aware of certain points in breathing. There are certain points. We are not aware of them. We have been breathing and we will go on breathing. We are born breathing and we will die breathing. But we are not aware of certain points. And this is strange. Man is searching, probing deep into space. Man is going to the moon. Man is trying to reach farther from Earth into this space. And man has not yet learned the most nearest part of his life. There are certain points in breathing which you have never observed. And those points are the doors. Nearest doors to you from where you can enter into a different world, into a different being, into a different consciousness. But they are very subtle. To observe a moon is not very difficult. Even to reach to the moon is not very difficult. It is a grass journey. You need mechanism, you need technology, you need accumulated information, and then you can reach it. Breathing is the nearest to you. And nearer a thing is difficult to perceive it. More near, more difficult. More obvious, more difficult. It is so near to you, again there is no space between you and your breathing. Or there is such a small space that you will need a very minute observation. Only then you will become aware of certain points. These points are the basis of these techniques. So now I will take each technique. Shiva replies, Radiant One, this experience may dawn between two breaths. after breath comes in and just before turning up, the beneficence. One technique. Radiant one, this experience may dawn between two breaths. After breath comes in, that is down, and just before turning out, that is going up. The beneficence. Be aware between these 2 points and the happening. When your breath comes in, observe. When your breath comes in, observe. For a single moment or a thousandth part of a moment, there is no breathing. Before it turns up, before it turns going outward. One breath comes in, then there is a certain point, breathing stops. Then the breathing goes out. When the breathing goes out, then again for a single moment or a part of a moment, breathing stops. Then breathing comes in. Before turning in or before turning out, there is a moment when you are not breathing. That moment, the happening is possible. Because when you are not breathing, you are not in the world. Understand this. When you are not breathing, you are dead. You are still, but dead. But the moment is of such a short duration, you never observe it. For tantra, each breath is a death, and each new breath is a rebirth. Breath coming in is rebirth. Breath going out is death. The outgoing breath is synonymous with death. The incoming breath is synonymous with life. So with each breath you are dying and reborn. And the gap between the two, it is of very short duration, but keen, sincere observation and attention will make you feel the gap. If you can feel the gap, Shiva says, the beneficence, then nothing else is needed. You are blessed. You have known the thing has happened. You are not to train the breath, just as it is. Why? Such a simple technique, it looks so simple. Such a simple technique to know the truth. To know the truth means to know that which is neither born nor dies. To know that eternal element which is always. But you can know the breath going out, you can know the breath coming in. You never know the gap between the two. Try it. Suddenly, if you can get the point, and you can get it, it is already there. Nothing is to be added to you or to your structure. It is already there. Everything is already there. Only a certain awareness. So how to do this? First become aware of breath coming in. Watch it. Forget everything. Just watch breath coming in. The very passage when the breath touches your nostrils, feel it there. Then let the breath move in. Move with the breath, fully conscious. You are going down, down, down with the breath. Don't miss the breath. Don't go ahead. Don't follow. Just go with it. Remember this. Don't go ahead. Don't follow it like a shadow. Be simultaneous with it. Breath and consciousness should become one. Breath goes in, you go in. Only then it will be possible to get the point which is between two breaths. It will not be easy. Move with the breath, then move with the breath out, in, out, in, out. Buddha tried and used this method particularly. So this method has become a Buddhist method. In Buddhist terminology, it is known as Anapanasati Yoga. And Buddha's enlightenment was based on this technique, only this. All the religions of the world, all the seers of the world have reached through some technique or other, and all those techniques will be in these 112 techniques. This first one is Buddhist technique. It has become known in the world as Buddhist technique because Buddha attained his enlightenment through this technique. Buddha says, be aware of your breath, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. He never mentions the gap because there is no need. Buddha thinks and he feels, if you become concerned with the gap between two breaths, that concern may disturb your awareness. So he simply says, be aware when the breath is going in, move with it. And when the breath is going out, move with it. Do simple this, going in, going out with the breath. He never says anything about the latter part of the technique. The reason is Buddha was talking with a very ordinary man. Even that may create a desire to attain the interval. That desire to attain the interval will become a barrier into awareness. Because if you are desiring to get to the interval, you will move ahead. Breath will be coming in and you will move ahead because you are interested in the gap which is going to be in the future. Buddha never mentions it. So Buddhist technique is just half. But the other half follows automatically. If you go on practicing breath consciousness, breath awareness, suddenly one day, without knowing, you will come to the intervals. Because as the awareness will become keen and deep and intensive, as your awareness will become bracketed, the whole world is bracketed out. Only your breath coming in or going out is your world. The whole arena for your consciousness. Suddenly you are bound to feel the gap when there is no breath. When you are moving with breath minutely, how can you remain unaware when there is no breath? You will become suddenly aware that there is no breath. And the moment will come when you will feel now neither the breath is going out nor the breath is coming in. Breath has stopped completely. In that stoppage, the beneficence. This one technique is enough for millions. The whole Asia tried and lived with this technique for centuries. Tibet, China, Japan, Burma, Thailand, Siam, Ceylon, the whole Asia except India has tried this technique, only one technique. And thousands have attained to enlightenment through this technique. And this is only the first technique. But unfortunately, because the technique became associated with Buddha's name, Hindus have been trying to avoid it. Because it became more and more known as Buddhist method, Hindus have completely forgotten it. Not only this, because this technique is the first technique mentioned by Shiva, many Buddhists have claimed that this book, Vigyan, Bhairav, Tantra, is a Buddhist book, not a Hindu book. It is neither Hindu nor Buddhist. And technique is just technique. Buddha used it, but it was there already to be used. Buddha became a Buddha because of the technique. Technique preceded Buddha. Technique was already there. Try it. It is one of the most simplest techniques. Simplest compared to other techniques. I am not saying simple for you. Other techniques will be more and more difficult. That's why it is mentioned as the first technique. The second. All these 9 techniques are concerned with breath. As breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns realize are the same, but with a slight difference. The emphasis is not now on the gap, but on the turning. Outgoing, ingoing breath, they make a circle. Remember, these are not two parallel lines. We always think of them as two parallel lines. Breath going in and breath going out. We think these are two parallel lines. They are not. Breath going in is half the circle. Breath going out is other half of the circle. So understand first, breath in and out creates a circle. They are not parallel lines. Because parallel lines never meet anywhere. Secondly, the breath coming in and the breath going out are not two breaths. One breath. The same breath which comes in goes out. So it must have a turn inside. It must turn somewhere There must be a point where the incoming breath becomes outgoing. This turning. Why? Why such emphasis on turning? Because Shiva says, as breath turns from down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns realize. Very simple. But he says, realize the turn, and you will realize the self. Why turn? If you know driving, you know gears. Each time you change a gear, you have to pass through the neutral gear, which is not a gear at all. From first gear you move to second, or from second to third. Always you have to move through the neutral gear. That neutral gear is the turning point. In that turning point, the first gear becomes the second becomes the third. When your breath goes in and turns out, it is in a neutral gear. Otherwise it cannot turn out. It passes the neutral territory. In that neutral territory you are neither a body nor a soul, neither physical nor mental. Because physical is a gear of your being, mental is another gear of your being. You go on moving from gear to gear. But you must have a neutral gear where neither you are a body nor a mind. In that neutral gear you simply are. Existence, pure, simple. Unembodied. With no mind. That's why the emphasis on turn. Man is a machine, and a big, very complicated machine. You have many gears in your body, many gears in the mind. You are not aware of your great mechanism, but you are a great machine. And it is good that you are not aware, otherwise you will go mad. It is such a great machine. Scientists say that if we have to create a factory just parallel to human body, it will require 4 square miles of land. And the noise will be such that 100 square mile land will be disturbed by it. It is a great mechanical device, the greatest. You have millions and millions of cells. Each cell is an alive soul. You are a big city. 7 crore. That is 70 million cells. That is 70 million citizens in you. And the whole city is running very silently, smoothly. Every moment the mechanism is working. It is very complicated. These techniques will be related at many points with your mechanism of the body and your mechanism of the mind. But always the emphasis will be on those points where suddenly you are not part of the mechanism. Remember this. Suddenly you are not part of the mechanism. There are moments when you change gears. For example, in the night, when you drop into sleep, you change gears. Because for the day, for waking consciousness, you need a different mechanism. A different part of the mind functions. Then you drop into sleep, that part becomes non-functioning. Another part of the mind begins to function. And there is a gap, interval, a turning, a gear is changed. In the morning when you are again getting up, the gear is changed. You are silently sitting. Suddenly someone says something and you get angry. Gear. You are moving into different gear. That's why everything changes. If you get angry, your breathing will change suddenly. Your breathing will become irritated, chaotic. A trembling will get into your breathing. You will feel suffocated. Your whole body will like to do something, shatter something. Only then the suffocation can disappear. Your breathing will change. Your blood will take a different rhythm, a different movement. Different chemicals will have to be released in the body. The whole gland system will have to change. You have become a different man when you are angry. A car is standing. You start it. Don't put it in any gear. Let it be in the neutral. It will go on purring, vibrating, trembling. But it cannot move. It will get hot. That's why when you are angry and you cannot do something, you will get hot. The mechanism is working to run and do something, and you are not doing, you will get hot. You are a mechanism, of course, not only the mechanism, you are more. But the more has to be found. When you get in a gear, everything changes inside. When you change the gears, there is a turning. Shiva says, as breath turns down to up, and again as breath curves from up to down, through both these turns realize. Be aware at the turn, but it is a very short, very minute observation will be needed. And we are just without any observing capacity. We cannot observe anything. If I say to you, observe the flower, this flower I give to you, observe it. You cannot observe it. For a single moment you will see it, and then you will begin to think something else. It may be about the flower, but it will not be the flower. You may think about the flower, how beautiful it is. You have moved. Now the flower is no more in your observation. Your field has changed. You may say it is red, it is blue, white. You have moved. Observation means remaining with no verb, with no word, with no verbalization, with no bubbling inside, just remaining with. If you can remain with a flower for 3 minutes, completely, with no movement of the mind, the thing will happen. the beneficence, you will realize. But we are not at all observers. We are not aware, we are not alert. We cannot pay attention to anything. We just go on jumping. This is part of our heritage, monkey heritage. Our mind is just the growth of the monkey mind. So the monkey moves on, goes on jumping from here and there. The monkey cannot sit. That's why Buddha insisted so much on just sitting without any movement. Because then the monkey mind is not allowed to go on its way. In Japan, they have a particular type of meditation they call zazen. The word zazen in Japanese only means just sitting, doing nothing. But no movement is to be allowed. One is just sitting like a statue, dead, not moving at all. But there is no need to sit like a statue for years together. If you can observe your breath turns without any movement of the mind, you will enter. You will enter into yourself or into the beyond within. Why these turnings are so important? They are important because on turnings, the breath leaves you to move in a different direction. It was with you when it was coming in. It will be again with you when it will be going out. But on the turning point, it is not with you and you are not with it. In that moment, breath is different from you and you are different from it. If breathing is life, then you are dead. If breathing is your body, then you are no body. If breathing is your mind, then you are no mind in that moment. I wonder whether you have observed it or not. If you stop your breath, mind is stopped suddenly. If you stop just now your breath, mind is stopped suddenly. Mind cannot function. A sudden stoppage into breath and mind stops. Why? Because they are disjoined. Only a moving breath is joined with the mind, with the body. A non-moving breath disjoined. Then you are in the neutral gear. The car is running. The power is running. The car is making noise, is ready to go forward. But it is not in the gear. So the body of the car and the mechanism of the car are not joined. The car is divided into two. It is ready to move, but the moving mechanism is not joined with it. The same happens when breath takes a turn. You are not joined with it. In that moment you can become easily aware of who you are. What is this being? What is this to be? Who is inside this house of the body? Who is the master? Or am I just the house? Or is there some master also? Or am I just the mechanism? Or something else also penetrates this mechanism? In that turning gap, Shiva says, realize. He says, just be aware of the turning, and you become a realized soul. The third technique are whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, at this instant, touch the energyless, energy-filled center. Or whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, at this instant, touch the energyless, energy-filled center. We are divided into the center and the periphery. Our body is the periphery. We know the body, we know the periphery, we know the circumference, but we don't know the center, where it is. When out-breath fuses with in-breath, when they become one, when you cannot say whether it is out-breath or in-breath, when it is difficult to demark and define whether the breath is going out or coming in, when the breath has penetrated in and it starts moving out, there is a movement of fusion. It is neither going out nor moving in. Breath is static. When it is moving out, it is dynamic. When it is coming in, it is dynamic. When it is neither, it is silent, non-moving. You are near to the center. The fusion point of in and outgoing breath is your center. Look at it in this way. When the breath goes in, where it goes? It goes to your center. It touches your center. When it goes out, from where it goes out, it moves from your center. Your center has to be touched. That's why Taoist mystics, Zen mystics, they say that head is not your center, navel is your center. Breath goes to the navel, then moves out. It goes to the center. As I said, it is a bridge between you and your body. You know the body, but you don't know where is your center. But the breath is constantly going to the center and moving out. But we are not taking enough breath. So ordinarily it is not going to the center really. Now at least, it is not going to the center. That's why everyone feels decentralized. Everyone feels off-center. In the whole modern world, those who can think at all, they feel they are missing their center. Look at a child sleeping. Observe his breath. The breath goes in, the belly comes up. The chest remains unaffected. That's why children have no chests, only bellies. Very dynamic bellies. The breath goes in and the belly comes up, and the breath goes out and the belly goes down. The belly moves. Children are in their centers, at their centers. That's why they are so happy, so bliss-filled, so energy-filled, never tired, overflowing, and always in the present moment. No past, no future. A child can be angry. When he is angry, he is totally angry. He becomes the anger. then his anger is also a beautiful thing. When one is totally angry, anger has a beauty of its own, because totality has always beauty. You cannot be angry and beautiful. You will become ugly. Because partiality is always ugly. And not only with anger. When you love, you are ugly. Because you are again partial, fragmentary. You are not total. Look at your face when you are loving to someone, making love. Make love before a mirror and look at your face. It will be ugly, animal-like. In love also your face becomes ugly. Why? Love is also a conflict. You are withholding something in. You are giving very miserly. Even in your love, you are not total, given completely, wholly. A child, even in anger and violence, is total. His face becomes radiant and beautiful. He is here and now. His anger is not something concerned with the past or something concerned with the future. He is not calculating. He is just angry. The child is at his center. When you are at your center, you are always total. Whatsoever you do will be a total act. Good or bad, but it will be total. When you are fragmentary, when you are off center, your every act is bound to be a fragment of you, not your totality is responding. Just a part. Just a part. And the part going against the total, that creates ugliness. Why? As we grow, all our children, as we grow, why our breathing becomes shallow? It never goes to the belly. It never touches the navel. More and more, it will come down less and less. It will become shallow. Just it will touch the chest and will go out. It never goes to the center. We are afraid of the center. Because if you go to the center, you will become total. If you want to be fragmentary, this is the mechanism to be fragmentary. You love. If you breathe from the center, you will flow in it totally. You are afraid. You are afraid to be so vulnerable, so open. To someone, to anyone, you may call him your lover, you may call her your beloved, but you are afraid. The other is there. If you are totally vulnerable, open, you don't know what is going to happen. Then you are completely in others' hands. You are afraid not to be so completely given to someone. You cannot breathe. You cannot take a deep breath. You cannot relax your breathing so that it goes to the center. Because the moment breathing goes to the center, your act becomes total. Afraid of being total, you breathe shallow. You just breathing at the minimum, not at the maximum. That's why life seems so lifeless. Breathing at the minimum, life will become lifeless. You are living at the minimum, not at the maximum. You can live at the maximum, then life is an overflowing. But then there will be difficulties. You cannot be a husband, you cannot be a wife if life is overflowing. Everything will become difficult. If life is overflowing, love will be overflowing. Then you cannot stick to one. Then you will be flowing all over. All dimensions will be filled by you. And then mind feels danger. So it is better not to be alive. More dead, more secure. More dead, everything is in control. You can control. You remain the master. You feel that I am the master because I can control. I can control my anger. I can control my love. I can control everything. But this controlling is possible only at the minimum level of your energy. Everyone should have felt sometime or other. There are moments when you suddenly change from the minimum level to the maximum. You go out to a hill station. Suddenly you are out of the city and the prison of it. You feel free. The sky is vast and the forest is green and the height touches the clouds. Suddenly you take a deep breath. You may not have observed. Now if you go to a hill station, observe. It is not really the hill station which changes, it is your breathing. You take a deep breath, you say, ah, ah. You touch the center, you become total for a moment, and everything is bliss. That bliss is not coming from the hill station. That bliss is coming from your center. You have touched suddenly. Now you were afraid in the city. Everywhere the other was present. And you were controlling. You cannot scream. You cannot laugh. What a misfortune. You cannot sing on the street and dance. You were afraid. The policeman was somewhere around the corner. Or the priest, or the judge, or the politician, or the moralist. Someone was just around the corner. You cannot just dance in the street. Bertrand Russell has said somewhere that I love civilization, but we have achieved civilization at a very great cost. We cannot dance in the streets. You go to a hill station, suddenly you can dance. You are alone with the sky. And the sky is not an imprisonment. It is just opening, opening and opening. Vast, infinite. Suddenly you take a breath, deep. It touches the center and the bliss. But it is not going to be so for a long time. Within an hour or two, hill station will disappear. You may be there, but the hill station will disappear. Your worries will come back. You will begin to think, to make a call to the city, to write a letter to your wife. Or, after 3 days you are going back, so make arrangements. You have just reached and making arrangements to leave. You are back. That breath was not from you really. It suddenly happened because of the change of situation. Gear changed. You were in a new situation. You couldn't breathe in the old way. So for a moment, a new breath came in. It touched the center, and you felt the bliss. Shiva says, you are every moment touching the center. Or if you are not touching, you can touch. Take deep, slow breath. Touch the center. Don't breathe from the chest. That's a trick. Civilization, education, morality, they have created shallow breathing. It would be good to go deep into it, because otherwise you cannot take deep breaths. Unless humanity becomes non-sex suppressive, man cannot breathe really. Because if the breath goes deep down to the belly, it gives energy to the sex center. It touches sex centers. It massages sex center from within. Sex center becomes more active, more alive. Civilization is afraid of sex. We don't allow our children to touch their sex centers, their sex organs. We say, stop, don't touch. Look at a child when he first touches his sex center, and then you say, stop, and then observe his breathing. When you say, stop, don't touch your sex center, breath will become shallow immediately. Because it is not only hand which is touching the sex center. Deep down, the breath is touching the sex center. And if the breath goes on touching it, it is difficult to stop the hand. If the hand stops, then basically it is needed, required, that the breath should not touch, should not go so deep. It must remain shallow. We are afraid of sex. Lower part of the body is not only lower physically, it has become lower as a value. It is condemned as lower. So don't go deep. Just remain shallow. It is unfortunate that we can only breathe downward. If some preachers are allowed, they will change the whole mechanism. You can only breathe upward in the head. Then there will be absolutely, you will not feel sex then. If we are to create a humanity sexless, then we will have to change the breathing system. The breath must go into the head, to the sahasrara, come back to the mouth. This should be the passage from mouth to sahasrara. It must not go deep down, because down is danger. The deeper you go, the nearer you reach to the deeper layers of biology. You reach to the center, and that center is just near the sex center. Just near. It has to be, because sex is life. Look at it in this way. Breath is life from above downwards. Sex is life just from the other corner, from down upwards. Sex energy is flowing, and breath energy is flowing. The breath passage is in the upper body, and the sex passage is in the down lower body. When they meet, they create life. When they meet, they create biology, bioenergy. So if you are afraid of sex, create a distance between the two. Don't allow them meeting. So really, a civilized man is castrated man. That's why we don't know. This sutra will be difficult to understand. Because Shiva says, whenever in-breath and out-breath fuse, At this instant, touch the energyless, energy-filled center. He uses a very contradictory term, energyless, energy-filled. It is energyless because your bodies, your minds cannot give any energy to it. Your body energy is not there. Your mind energy is not there. So it is energyless as far as you know your identity. But it is energy filled because it has the cosmic source of energy, not your body energy. Your body energy is just fuel energy. It is nothing but petrol. You eat something, you drink something, it creates energy. It is just giving fuel to the body. Stop eating and drinking, your body will fall dead. Not just now. It will take 3 months at least, because you have reservoirs of petrol. You have accumulated much energy. It can run at least for 3 months without going to any petrol station. It can run. It has a reservoir. Emergency, any emergency, you may need it. This is fuel energy. The center is not getting any fuel energy. That's why Shiva says it is energyless. It is not dependent on your eating, drinking. It is connected with the cosmic source. It is cosmic energy. That's why he says energyless, energy-filled center. The moment you can feel the center from where breath goes out or comes in, the very point where breath fuses, breaths fuse, that center, if you become aware, the enlightenment. Fourth technique, or when breath is all out, up, and stopped of itself, or all in, down, and stopped in such a universal pause, one's small self vanishes. This is difficult only for the impure. Then it is difficult for everyone. Because he says this is difficult only for the impure. But who is the pure one? It is difficult for you. You cannot practice it. But you can feel it sometimes, suddenly. You are driving a car and suddenly you feel there is going to be an accident. Breathing will stop. If it is out, it will remain out. If it is in, it will remain in. You cannot breathe in such emergency. You cannot afford. Everything will stop. The pause. When breath is all out, up, and stopped of itself, or in, down, stopped, such universal pause, one's small self vanishes. Your small self is only a daily utility. In emergencies, you cannot remember it, who you are, the name, the bank balance, the prestige, everything just evaporates. Your car is just heading towards another car. A moment and there will be death. in this moment there will be pause. Even for the impure, there will be pause. Suddenly, breathing stops. If you can be aware in that moment, you reach the goal. Zen monks have tried this method very much in Japan. That's why their methods seem very weird, absurd, strange. They have done many things inconceivable. A teacher will throw someone out of the house. Suddenly the teacher will begin slapping the disciple. Without any reason or rhyme, without any cause. You were sitting with your teacher and everything was okay. You were just chit-chatting and he will begin to beat you. To create the pause. Because if there is any cause, the pause cannot be created. You had abused the teacher and he starts you beating. There is a causality. Your mind understands. I abused him and he is beating. Really, your mind was expecting it already. So there is no gap. But remember, a Zen teacher will not beat you if you abuse him. He will laugh. Because then laughter can create the pause. You were abusing him and you were saying nonsense things to him and you expected anger and he starts laughing or dancing. That is sudden. That will create the pause. You cannot understand it. If you cannot understand, the mind stops. And when the mind stops, breathing stops. Either way, if breathing stops, mind stops, breathing stops. You were appreciating the teacher. And you were feeling good. And you were thinking, now the teacher must be pleased. And suddenly he takes his staff and begins to beat you. And mercilessly, because Zen masters are merciless. He begins to beat you, you cannot understand what is happening. The mind stops. There is a pause. If you know the technique, you can attain to yourself. Because of such stories that someone attained Buddhahood because the teacher suddenly started beating him. We cannot understand what nonsense. How one can attain Buddhahood? By being beaten by someone or being thrown out of the window by someone. Even if someone kills you, you cannot attain Buddhahood. But if you understand this technique, then it becomes easy to understand. In the West particularly, for these 30 years, 40 years, Zen has become very much prevalent, a fashion. But unless they know this technique, they cannot understand Zen. They can imitate it, but imitation is of no good. Rather, it is dangerous. These are not things to be imitated. The whole Zen technique is based on the fourth technique of Shiva. But this is unfortunate. Now we will have to import Zen from Japan. Because we have lost the whole tradition. We don't know. Shiva was the expert par excellence of this method. When he came to marry Devi with his barat, with his procession, the whole city must have felt the pause. The whole city. Devi's father was not willing to marry his girl to this hippie. Shiva was, he is the original hippie. Devi's father was totally against. No father will marry. No father. So, we cannot say anything against Devi's father. No father will marry to Shiva. And then Devi insisted. So he had to agree. Non-willingly. Unhappily. But he agreed. Then came the marriage procession. It is said people began to run, seeing Shiva and his procession. The whole barat must have taken LSD, marijuana. They were on. And really, LSD, marijuana are just the beginning. Shiva knew, and his friends and disciples knew, the ultimate psychedelic soma, somaras. Aldous Huxley has named the ultimate psychedelic soma only because of Shiva. They were on, just dancing, screaming, laughing. The whole city fled. They must have felt a pause. Any sudden, unexpected, unbelievable thing can create the pause for the impure. But for the pure, there is no need of such things. For the pure, the pause is always there. The pause is always there. Many times, for pure minds, breathing stops. Many times. If your mind is pure, pure means you are not desiring, hankering, seeking anything. Silently pure, innocently pure. You are sitting, suddenly your breath will stop. Remember this, mind moving needs breath movement. Mind moving fast needs fast movement in breath. That's why when you are in anger, breath will move fast. In sexual act, breath will move very fast. That's why in Ayurveda it is said that your life will be shortened. If too much sex is allowed, your life will be shortened. Because Ayurveda measures your life in breaths. If you take too fast breathing, your life will be shortened. Modern medicine says that sex helps blood circulation. Sex helps relaxation. And those who suppress their sex, they may get into trouble, particularly heart trouble. And they are right. And Ayurveda is also right, but they seem contradictory. But Ayurveda was invented 5,000 years before. Every man was doing much labor. Life was labor. So there was no need to relax. There was no need to create artificial devices for blood circulation. But now, those who are not doing much physical labor, only sex is their labor. That's why modern medicine is also right. for modern man. He is not doing any physical exertion. Sex gives the exertion. Heart beats more, blood circulates fast, breathing becomes deep and goes to the center. So after the sexual act, you feel relaxed and you can fall into sleep easily. Freud says sex is the best tranquilizer. And it is, at least for the modern man. In sex, breathing will become fast. In anger, breathing will become fast. In sex, mind is filled with desire, lust, impurity. When the mind is pure, no desire in the mind, no seeking, no motivation, not going anywhere, just remaining here and now as an innocent pool, not even a ripple. Then breathing stops automatically. There is no need. In this pause, the small self vanishes and you attain to the higher self, the supreme self. I think this will do for today.